Imagine, for a second, your own medicine cabinet at home.
Right.
Just picture the bottles sitting on those little shelves. Now, what if I told you that the drugs inside that cabinet could be produced like 25% faster
Yeah.
and at a fraction of their current cost with near zero manufacturing errors? I mean,
Yep.
that is the ultimate promise of Pharma 4.0.
It's a massive promise, honestly. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how, life-saving medications go from raw chemical materials into the hands of the patients who actually need them.
Exactly.
The pharmaceutical industry has been chasing this kind of supply chain invulnerability for decades now.
But to find out if that promise is actually real,
Yeah.
we've dug into the latest factory floor data for this deep dive. We're looking at everything from recent MIT research and industry assessments from McKinsey and PwC to the brand new 2026 regulatory guidelines.
Right, from the FDA and the EMA.
Yeah. And our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the massive gap between the breathless tech hype of artificial intelligence and the gritty, highly regulated reality of, well, actually trying to make medicine with it.
Because the gap between those two things, the Silicon Valley hype and the factory floor reality,
Okay.
is exactly where the future of global healthcare is currently bottlenecked.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Okay.
Because the sheer scale of the money involved here is what first caught my eye.
Oh, it's staggering.
It really is. I mean, the global AI and pharma manufacturing market is projected to grow from $1.2 billion today to $34 billion by 2040.
Right.
That's a compound annual growth rate of 28%.
It is just a staggering amount of capital flooding the zone right now.
Yeah.
If you look at the sector-level projections, the financial case for AI in this space is no longer just theoretical.
Yeah.
Analysts are projecting AI could eventually generate up to like $410 billion annually for the broader industry.
Wow.
But the underlying narrative across all this data isn't really about the software itself. It's about readiness.
Readiness.
Yeah, buying the technology is the easy part. Being culturally and operationally ready to deploy it in a facility that the FDA actively monitors, that's a completely different ballgame.
And that operational readiness, or, the lack of it, creates this incredible paradox we're seeing.
Oh, absolutely.
On one hand, you have these undeniable massive wins. Take Pfizer, for example. Back in 2023, they deployed an AI platform called Vox on AWS.
Right, I remember that.
And this system contributed to a 20% increase in manufacturing throughput. But the wild part is their mRNA prediction algorithm.
Yeah.
It yielded 20,000 more vaccine doses per single batch.
Which sounds like magic until you look at the mechanics of it. I mean, they aren't just magically creating more liquid out of nowhere.
Right.
The algorithm is optimizing the incredibly complex thermodynamics and fluid dynamics during the formulation process itself.
So it's just much more efficient.
Exactly. By using AI to calculate the exact optimal mixing speeds and temperatures, they minimize the waste of those really expensive lipid nanoparticles. They are literally squeezing more usable medicine out of the exact same amount of raw material.
That's incredible. And Moderna is doing something similar,
Hmm.
using AI to automate their quality control and drastically reduce the hours humans spend manually reviewing data.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you see those headlines and you think, well, the industry is fully revolutionized.
You do, but then you look at the broader landscape, like the 2025 MIT study on enterprise generative AI.
Right. That study found that 95% of enterprise generative AI initiatives showed absolutely zero measurable impact on profit and loss.
Zero.
Nothing. No financial return at all. To help you wrap your head around that, think of it like someone buying a state-of-the-art Formula One race car, but they're only driving it back and forth in their own driveway.
That's a very apt way to visualize the current state of the industry, honestly. They have the horsepower, but no track to run it on.
But wait, I have to push back here. If Pfizer is getting 20,000 extra doses a batch by optimizing fluid dynamics, how is it possible that 95% of companies are seeing zero impact on their P&L?
Well,
I mean, is AI actually just a vanity project for most of these executives? With billions of dollars at their disposal, what is physically stopping these massive pharmaceutical giants from just buying their way into profitability with this tech?
what's fascinating here is that it's not an AI problem, it's an organizational readiness problem.
Okay.
The failure to see a return on investment is almost never a failure of the algorithm itself.
Yeah.
It is a structural integration problem. AI pilots are siloed.
Siler how?
Well, at BioAsia in 2025, EY, Parthenon, and Microsoft introduced an AI maturity framework that perfectly diagnoses this. They break the industry down into 3 tiers.
Okay.
Tier 1 is experimenting, which means ad hoc pilots in isolated departments. Tier 2 is scaling, where you start doing some structured programs. And Tier 3 is transforming.
And that's the goal.
Yeah, that's enterprise-wide integration with real-time data and full regulatory alignment.
Let me guess. All that capital hasn't bought most of them a ticket to Tier 3 yet.
Not even close. The vast majority of pharma organizations are firmly stuck in Tier 1 or maybe early Tier 2.
Wow.
They're running these isolated AI pilots. Maybe the packaging department has a cool computer vision tool or the warehouse has an automated routing algorithm.
Right.
But if an AI doesn't integrate into the daily workflow, the end-to-end workflow of the people actually making and releasing the drugs, it doesn't move the financial needle. It just remains a very expensive science experiment.
So if 95% of these AI tools are failing to generate profit because they're isolated, the obvious question is, what's keeping them isolated?
Exactly.
And that leads us to the foundation, the fuel that actually runs these models, the data.
Yes.
Because you can't just buy a Tier 3 integrated system overnight if your historical data is a mess.
And in pharmaceutical manufacturing, it is absolutely a mess. We are looking at a massive data silo problem.
Yeah.
Nearly 50% of pharmaceutical data goes completely unanalyzed.
Half of it.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Half of all the data generated across the manufacturing floor, the supply chain, the quality control labs, it's just sitting there. At a single manufacturing site, you might have data fragmented across anywhere from 10 to 30 disconnected legacy systems.
Oh, wow.
You have laboratory information management systems, enterprise resource planning software, manufacturing execution systems, and they are all speaking completely different digital languages.
And if you don't have absolute data readiness, meaning you aren't enforcing strict ALCOA plus compliance across every single one of those systems, so the data is completely attributable and accurate, the AI isn't finding hidden efficiencies.
No, not at all.
It's just generating what the source calls sophisticated noise.
Sophisticated noise is exactly right. If you feed an advanced machine learning model a diet of disconnected, unstructured data, it will confidently give you a completely useless recommendation.
Right.
And in a highly regulated environment where patient safety is on the line, acting on a hallucinated or inaccurate recommendation actually creates massive compliance risk. It does the exact opposite of what it's supposed to do.
So if the overarching data infrastructure is that much of a mess, the only places AI can successfully operate right now must be in highly isolated, highly controlled physical environments.
Yeah.
Is that why predictive maintenance is currently taking the lead?
That is a major reason, yes. When we look at where the actual money is being made on the floor right now, it's surprisingly unglamorous.
Yeah, tell me about it.
As of 2025, the fastest path to ROI and the most mature AI use case isn't drug discovery or robotic formulation, it's predictive maintenance or PDM.
So wait, the cutting edge of pharmaceutical AI isn't some robot inventing new cures. It's just a really smart HVAC repairman.
You could frame it that way, sure, but the stakes are incredibly high. Let's look at the mechanics of this. Consider a piece of equipment called a lyophilizer. It's a massive, highly specialized industrial freeze dryer. Now, picture one of these machines carrying a full batch load of complex biologics.
Right.
These are highly sensitive, incredibly expensive medicines. If there is a single unplanned failure, maybe a microscopic vacuum leak or a sudden refrigeration drop, you lose the entire batch.
Just a total write-off because the seal broke.
A total write-off. Millions of dollars evaporate, and critical medicines are delayed for patients who need them. But when we say predictive maintenance uses AI, it's not just setting a digital timer for a part replacement.
Right, it's smarter than that.
Much smarter. The machine learning models are continuously analyzing thousands of data points a second from physical sensors. We're talking acoustic vibrations, ambient temperature, motor current.
Wow.
The AI knows exactly what a healthy compressor sounds like. So the second the vibration frequency changes, even imperceptibly to a human ear, the AI flags a microfault. It predicts the compressor will fail in 3 days, allowing the plant to fix it before the seal ever breaks.
And what I found so brilliant about this isn't just that it saves the machine. It's how the AI interacts with the regulatory paperwork.
Exactly.
Think of it like a digital breadcrumb trail. The AI doesn't just flash a red light and say, hey, fix this.
No.
It automatically tracks the equipment alerts, timestamps the data-driven justifications for why the maintenance is required, and annotates all of that directly into the electronic batch records.
And that digital breadcrumb trail is exactly why PDM is the perfect entry point. First, it's relatively low GMP risk, meaning it doesn't directly alter the chemical makeup of the drug itself.
Right, it's just the machine.
Right. But more importantly, it generates perfectly auditable documentation as a byproduct of its operation. In this industry, regulators require that every single maintenance action be justified, documented, and verifiable.
Yeah.
By using AI here, you turn what used to be a reactive, panic-driven scramble into a proactive, perfectly documented system of process control. And that is exactly what regulators want.
Okay, so the AI can listen to the machines, and the data can predict the failures. But humans still have to run the data, right?
They do.
They have to make the final call to halt a production line. And this brings us to what feels like the most acute barrier in this entire industry, the talent gap.
Oh, it's massive.
There is a massive 60% shortage of AI-skilled professionals in the pharma industry right now.
It is the single biggest operational hurdle. 49% of pharma professionals cite this talent shortage as their absolute top barrier to digital transformation.
49%.
Yeah, you can have the best sensors in the world, but if nobody knows how to tune the model, it's useless.
And they don't just need standard run-of-the-mill data scientists either. The critical missing puzzle piece isn't just a coder. It's a highly specific role called the AI translator.
Yes, the translator.
This is someone who possesses deep pharmaceutical domain knowledge, meaning they thoroughly understand GXP manufacturing regulations, and they also possess advanced AI skills. To me, this AI translator sounds like a bilingual diplomat desperately trying to negotiate a peace treaty between a reckless Silicon Valley tech bro and a hyper-cautious, sterile lab scientist.
It really is a profound cultural clash, and that diplomat analogy is pretty spot on.
But again, with all the resources at their disposal, why can't pharma just hire top talent from big tech? Why do they need this ultra-rare hybrid employee? Why not just bring in the people who built the algorithms at Google and have them run the factory?
It fundamentally comes down to accountability. In a highly regulated environment, accountability cannot be outsourced.
Okay.
You simply cannot trust a vendor's algorithm if you don't understand it yourself. If an AI makes a recommendation that alters the cooling time of a biologic, and an FDA inspector asks the plant manager why that decision was made, the computer told me to, is an answer that will get your facility shut down immediately.
Because the computer isn't the one liable if a patient gets hurt.
Precisely. The industry relies heavily on a human-in-the-loop model. The AI recommends an action based on data, but a qualified, legally accountable human must interpret, validate, and authorize that action.
Right.
If the human validating the data doesn't understand how the AI weighted its variables, or if the Silicon Valley developer who built the AI doesn't understand the strict compliance parameters of drug manufacturing, the entire system collapses under audit.
Which explains the massive internal pivot we're seeing. Companies like Johnson & Johnson and Novartis are currently training tens of thousands of their own staff internally.
Yeah, it's a huge upskilling initiative.
Because they've realized they simply cannot hire enough of these hybrid AI translators from the outside.
They can't. Instead of trying to teach a software engineer the nuances of sterile manufacturing and FDA compliance, which takes years of hands-on experience, they are taking their veteran process engineers and quality assurance professionals and teaching them Python, data architecture, and machine learning principles.
That makes a lot of sense.
They are taking the people who already know how the medicine is made and giving them the tools to optimize it.
And this intense focus on human accountability and training is exactly why the regulators have finally laid down the law. Because human accountability is paramount, the regulators have stepped in.
They finally have, yes.
Let's look at the timeline here. It is March 2026. Just 2 months ago, in January 2026, the FDA and the EMA jointly published a landmark rulebook, the 10 Guiding Principles for Good AI Practice.
That document is a watershed moment for the industry. For years, manufacturers have hesitated to fully deploy AI because they were terrified of how inspectors would react.
Right.
These 10 guiding principles provide definitive, standardized direction for how algorithms and humans must interact to ensure public safety.
And by establishing those rules, they're enabling some pretty incredible changes on the floor, specifically around a concept called smart quality. One of the fascinating applications of this is computer vision on the production lines.
This is where we see a direct physical transformation of the workflow.
All right, so traditionally, if you want to ensure quality, you have humans manually inspecting vials. But now, They are deploying high-speed computer vision systems that can detect tablet defects at speeds no human eye could ever match.
Exactly.
We're talking about lines moving at hundreds of vials a minute. The AI is instantly differentiating between a harmless shadow on the glass and a microscopic fracture.
And because the computer vision is so remarkably accurate, it is allowing plants to eliminate what's known as the four-eye principle.
The dual manual review.
Right. Historically, critical steps in manufacturing required literally two separate human beings physically signing off on an action to ensure no single person made a mistake.
Yeah.
By validating the AI to act as that second set of eyes, facilities are reducing the manual documentation work in their quality control labs by an astonishing 80%.
80%. And they are simultaneously dropping actual quality deviations by over 65%.
It's a massive efficiency gain, but the real shift is cultural. The Parenteral Drug Association describes this technological leap as moving away from the traditional panic-driven audit culture.
Like those frantic prep weeks before an FDA inspection.
Exactly. Chasing down lost paper logs, enforcing emergency retraining. These integrated AI tools are shifting the entire industry toward what they call an always-on state of control.
So what does this all mean? I have to push back on that phrasing a little bit.
Okay.
An always-on state of control sounds a bit like a dystopian surveillance state for the factory workers. I mean, is this actually empowering for the staff, or is an AI just looking over their shoulder 24/7, waiting for them to mess up a label?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's actually quite the opposite of a dystopia for the workers. It isn't about punishing the staff. It's about freeing them from monotonous, low-value documentation.
Okay.
Think about that 80% reduction in manual paperwork. We are talking about highly trained chemists and biologists who currently spend hours every single day just initialing logs and verifying timestamps.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
The AI frees them from that. And we have to remind ourselves that strategic alignment, not regulatory complexity, is the primary barrier to adoption now. The 2026 regulations are actually giving companies the green light to innovate safely.
It really is the total paradigm shift. To summarize this whole journey for you, AI in pharma isn't a futuristic dream anymore. It is a current reality that is actively transforming how our medicines are made today.
Absolutely.
But the winners won't be those with the flashiest algorithms. They will be the companies who master the boring stuff-clean data, trained translators, and rock-solid compliance. And why should you care about any of this?
Yeah, why does it matter?
Because this translates directly to faster, safer, and cheaper access to life-saving drugs for you and your family.
That is the ultimate takeaway. However, there's one final, lingering question we haven't answered yet. As AI digital twins become capable of simulating hundreds of batch scenarios to find the perfect manufacturing parameters, what happens when the AI discovers an optimization so profoundly complex that even our best AI translators can't explain why it works to the FDA?
Oh, wow.
Right. In a system that requires explainability, will our regulations eventually cap how smart our medicine-making machines are allowed to become?
That is a wild thought. Will we have to cap the intelligence of our own machines? We'll leave you to mull that one over on your own. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the data behind the headlines, and we'll see you next time.